On September 11, 2001, United Airlines Flight 93 became the site of one of the most heroic moments in history. But what most people don't know is that the world didn't recognize the true heroes until years later. Flight 93, initially hijacked by terrorists, was meant to be another devastating part of the 9/11 attacks. However, the passengers on board fought back with incredible courage, making the ultimate sacrifice. Their bravery stopped the terrorists from reaching their intended target, saving countless lives. This is the shocking truth that was hidden for years. The real heroes were the passengers themselves. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. The terrorists who hijacked United Airlines Flight 93 had a clear and deadly plan. Their mission was part of the broader scheme orchestrated by Al-Qaeda on September 11, 2001. The group's objective was to turn Flight 93 into another weapon of destruction, aiming to crash it into a major target in Washington, D.C. The most likely target was either the White House or the U.S. Capitol building, both symbols of American power and government. The hijackers had successfully taken control of the cockpit and were in the process of navigating the plane towards the Capitol. The plane's passengers were unaware of the scale of the attack at first. However, after learning about the other hijackings through phone calls with family members, they realized the horrific truth. They understood that their flight, like the others, had been hijacked for the purpose of mass destruction. The passengers were faced with a terrifying decision: remain passive or fight back against the armed hijackers. It was a moment of unimaginable fear, but it also ignited a sense of duty to prevent further loss of life. The story of their bravery is what makes Flight 93 stand out, as the passengers' actions ultimately prevented a far greater catastrophe. The passengers on United Airlines Flight 93 became the unexpected heroes of that fateful day. After learning about the other hijackings, they realized that their flight was part of a larger terrorist plot. Despite being unarmed and facing heavily armed hijackers, the passengers quickly made the courageous decision to fight back. Led by individuals like Todd Beamer, who famously said, "Let's roll," the group took immediate action to regain control of the plane. They worked together to storm the cockpit, despite the terrorists' violent resistance. The struggle inside the plane was intense, with the passengers using whatever they could find to overpower the hijackers. Though they ultimately lost their lives, their bravery prevented the plane from reaching its intended target. Their actions saved countless others in Washington, D.C., and forever etched their names in history as heroes who sacrificed everything to protect the nation. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of United Airlines Flight 93 was the phone calls made by passengers to their loved ones. In those final moments, many passengers took the opportunity to speak with family members, knowing the grim situation they were in. These phone calls revealed the horrifying truth. The hijackers had taken control of the plane, and the passengers were aware of the other attacks that had already taken place. Some passengers, like Todd Beamer, spoke to their loved ones with a calm sense of determination, sharing their love and asking them to take care of their families. Others conveyed their fear, knowing that time was running out. The last conversations on Flight 93 were filled with emotion, love, and courage. Despite the chaos around them, these phone calls showed the passengers' strength as they realized that fighting back was their only chance to stop the terrorists. These calls became a crucial part of the narrative of Flight 93, and they demonstrate the human spirit in the face of unimaginable fear. The final moments of United Airlines Flight 93 were nothing short of shocking. As the passengers fought valiantly to regain control of the plane, the struggle between them and the hijackers escalated. The cockpit voice recorder, which captured the sounds of the conflict, revealed the intense battle inside the plane. Passengers can be heard screaming, and the hijackers, desperate to maintain control, violently resisted. The plane, now uncontrollable due to the passengers' efforts, began to roll and dive. In these terrifying moments, the aircraft crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, killing all 44 people on board. However, the crash site was far from the terrorists' intended target, which likely would have been the U.S. Capitol or the White House. Though no one survived, the actions of the passengers ensured that the plane didn't reach its catastrophic destination. This tragic end, while heart-wrenching, also showed the incredible bravery of those on board. They may have lost their lives, but they prevented further destruction, proving that even in the face of death, They fought with every ounce of strength they had to protect their country. The families of the passengers aboard United Airlines Flight 93 experienced not only overwhelming grief, but also a sense of confusion and frustration in the aftermath of the tragedy. Initially, many of these families did not know the full extent of their loved ones' actions. For a long time, the heroic efforts of the passengers were not widely acknowledged, as the focus was often on the terrorist attack itself. Some families struggled to understand how their loved ones had fought back against the hijackers without knowing exactly what had transpired during the flight. Over time, however, the bravery of the passengers was recognized, and the families began to find solace in knowing that their loved ones had sacrificed their lives to prevent a much greater catastrophe. The passengers on Flight 93 had made the ultimate choice to fight back, and that sacrifice ensured that their deaths would not be in vain. Many of the families have since become advocates for memorials and honors dedicated to their loved ones' bravery. Their stories are a reminder that the courage displayed that day was not just a personal act of heroism, but a collective effort that saved countless lives and changed the course of history. After the crash of United Airlines Flight 93, the FBI launched a thorough investigation to piece together the events of that fateful day. In the wreckage, investigators found the cockpit voice recorder, which became a crucial piece of evidence. The recording revealed the harrowing final moments of the plane, as passengers fought to reclaim control from the hijackers. While much of this information was made public, certain findings remained classified for a time. The FBI's investigation also uncovered the identities and backgrounds of the hijackers, shedding light on how they gained control of the plane. Some details, however, were not shared immediately, including specific communications between the hijackers and their co-conspirators. The information gathered by the FBI played a critical role in understanding the full scope of the 9/11 attacks and provided further insight into how the passengers' bravery thwarted the hijackers' plans. What makes United Airlines Flight 93 so unique is the role played by the cockpit voice recorder. The CVR, which records all conversations and sounds in the cockpit, provided a shocking and invaluable insight into the final moments of the flight. As the hijackers attempted to gain control of the plane, the passengers fought back, and the sounds of the struggle were captured. The recording revealed the intensity of the conflict, with passengers yelling, attempting to break into the cockpit, and the hijackers responding with violence. It also showed the desperate moments when the hijackers lost control of the plane, causing it to veer off course and eventually crash. This chilling audio has given the world a rare and disturbing look into what transpired during those final moments, and it was key in understanding how the passengers' actions led to the plane's crash, preventing even greater destruction. The impact of United Airlines Flight 93 on national security was profound and far-reaching. The actions of the passengers on Flight 93 directly influenced major changes in aviation and anti-terrorism measures. In the wake of the 9/11 attacks, one of the most significant reforms was the implementation of stricter cockpit security. Airlines began reinforcing cockpit doors to prevent future hijackers from taking control of planes, a change that has greatly increased the safety of air travel. Additionally, security procedures at airports worldwide were revamped, with enhanced screening processes and more thorough monitoring of passengers. The bravery displayed on Flight 93 also led to the creation of the 9/11 Commission, which investigated the attacks and recommended improvements in intelligence sharing and counterterrorism efforts. Flight 93 legacy continues to shape the way air travel is conducted, making it safer for passengers and preventing such an attack from ever happening again. The legacy of United Airlines Flight 93 is one of extraordinary courage and sacrifice. The passengers aboard the flight demonstrated an unmatched level of bravery, choosing to fight back against the hijackers even when faced with certain death. Their actions prevented the plane from reaching its intended target, likely saving countless lives in Washington, D.C. Over the years, their story has become a symbol of heroism, and their legacy continues to inspire people around the world. Memorials have been erected to honor their sacrifice, including the Flight 93 National Memorial in Pennsylvania, which stands as a tribute to the passengers' selflessness. The events of that day remind us that ordinary people can become extraordinary heroes in the face of unimaginable circumstances. The bravery displayed by the passengers aboard Flight 93 has left an indelible mark on history, teaching us the true meaning of courage and the power of collective action in the face of terror.